Hungary's Ministry of Defence launched an investigation into the theft of parts from a decommissioned MiG-29 fighter jet. The parts, including radar equipment, were stolen from a military airbase 2 weeks ago near Kecskemét, a city in central Hungary. A former pilot who flew the aircraft explained to Euronews that the parts could only have been stolen by someone with the necessary expertise.
Ha egy laikus valamit el akar vinni egy repülőgépről, akkor azért nem tör be egy NATO bázisra. Nem tudja, hogy hol az őrség, nem tudja, hogy mikor jönnek, nem tudja, hogy mit akar elvinni.
Additionally, the aircrafts are made out of heavy equipment consisting of multiple components. Stealing these is not something that can easily go unnoticed.
Ez itt mögöttem a legnépszerűbb szovjet vadászgép típus, a MiG-21-es, amiből összesen 10 000 darabot gyártottak. Bár ez sokkal régebbi, mint a MiG-29-es, arra jó, hogy szemléltessük, hogy a tolvajoknak korán sem volt könnyű dolguk, fel kellett mászniuk a szárnyra, és ebbe az aprócska pilóta fülkében kiszerelni egy több mint 200 kg-os eszközt, majd ezt elszállítani titokban a kecskeméti repülőtérről.
The military airbase is protected by cameras, barbed wire, and a 24-hour guard service. The jet's protection no longer falls under the armed forces, but instead is overseen by a private company. Although the Ministry of Defence has launched an investigation, this does not guarantee that the findings will be made public, as the results could be classified at any time for national security reasons.
Did Trump make EU leaders wait in line outside his office? A blurry picture is being widely shared online with claims it shows EU leaders sitting with bowed heads in a White House corridor. European leaders, alongside Ukrainian President Zelensky, met with US President Trump at the White House on Monday, the 18th of August, to discuss support for Ukraine. Images shared with captions alleging the leaders were being left to wait for Trump. One social media account said it was a humiliation, calling the leaders vassals at the court of the Mad Emperor. Another compared them to school children being lined up outside the principal's office. The image was also shared by an established pro-Russian account with the caption "the picture of the day." However, the image is false. It clearly contains discrepancies typical of AI-generated images. This was confirmed by several AI detection tools. A reverse image search produced a higher quality version of the image. It shows a person sitting at the front of the row who vaguely looks like French President Emmanuel Macron. But when looking more closely, the fingers of his left hand are mangled, and an extra pair of feet can be spotted to the right of him. Meanwhile, online posts claim the people sitting to his left are other European leaders present at the meeting, such as Ursula von der Leyen and Giorgia Meloni, but they look nothing like them and are wearing different outfits. Some social media users have picked up on the fact the photo is AI generated, while others explained why it is fake in community notes on X. Ukraine's Center for Countering Disinformation also posted the photo, stating it was a fake and that it's being spread by Russian propaganda to discredit European leaders and devalue the significance of their participation in the negotiation process.
Which EU country produces the most beer? Brewing beer is part of Europe's culture and also its economy. In 2024, EU countries produced 32.7 billion liters of beer, a yearly increase of 0.6%. The low or no alcohol beer sector performed even better, reaching 2 billion liters in 2024, an increase of 11.1%. Germany is the top producer of beer with 7.2 billion liters, about one-fifth of the EU total. Spain comes second with 4 billion liters, followed by Poland with 3.4, the Netherlands with 2.2, and Belgium with 2.1 billion liters. But when it comes to exports, the Netherlands is in first place, shipping 1.5 billion liters of beer in 2024. This is, however, a 12% drop compared to 2023. After the Netherlands, Germany and Belgium share the second place for exports, followed by Czechia and Ireland. The biggest importers of beer are France, Italy, Spain, Germany, and the Netherlands. According to the World Health Organization, alcohol consumption in Europe is well above the world average, and it warns that no form of alcohol consumption is risk-free. Even drinking small amounts can cause more than 200 diseases, injuries, and other health conditions.
This photo has made the rounds in Greece A man on a motorcycle evacuates a sheep as forest fires approach. The scene took place last week in Patrias, a port city in the grip of flames. Fires have a significant impact on wildlife, leading to increased mortality and injuries. They also cause displacement of animals, loss of habitat, pollution, and disruption of ecosystems. Associations have come to the rescue of animals in Patrias, offering them shelter and veterinary care.
We've been assisting some local wildlife partners with things like transport of animals, wildlife who have been injured. So things like tortoises that might be out and suffer from burns and now need care. So we've helped to move those animals, relocate them where they can get care and be recovered in a sanctuary environment.
The associations have taken in street dogs and cats injured in the fires while waiting to find them permanent homes. The issue is also economic. The association plans to plant new colonies of bees to support the recovery of beekeeping.
There's been many beekeepers in apiaries that have been affected by these wildfires. So hives that have been burned, lost, and destroyed. And so that's people's livelihoods. And it's also impacting things like honey production. And it's also, and bees are struggling because their forage, the plants that they eat, have also burned.
In 2022, 43% of burnt areas in the EU were Natura 2000 natural protected areas, reservoirs of biodiversity.
Wow! There needs to be a twist. There needs to be a... This is your film, it's your choice, and what you're doing is great. But you gotta remember your audience. You gotta remember the boys. Now, these boys, they might be 45, they might be 8, they might be French, and they come to us, Joe. For why? For guns? Yeah.
You know, the spectrum of casting has changed dramatically, fantastically so, and for the absolute right reasons. So I think this is a product where we can say, has it been left behind? And that's exactly the questions that we throw up. And certainly there are many social issues and issues within the casting environment that do certainly get debated in this to a certain extent, but in a very comic fashion.
You've read Casino Royale? I've read all the books. Wow.
Wow.
What is it to be British now? What is it to be a spy now, to want to serve your country? And I think that's the interesting thing. I think it could be anybody. It could be, you know, I think oftentimes there's a conversation around Idris Elba should be the next Bond. And I think that I'd be really interested in perhaps like a South Asian actor as a Bond. I think it's more than sort of black and white. I think British identity is so much more than that.
People call it liquid Viagra.
Malcolm, your favorite.
So this exhibition is called Between Sleeping and Waking, and what we've done is taken the work of sleep researchers and they've developed a taxonomy of the dreams that are most commonly shared widely across society and across cultures as well. And then we've gone to our museum's rich collection of reserve artworks, and we've managed to find a picture that kind of illustrates every single one of those archetypes, as it were. What he did was painted for his doctors scenes that tried to explain to them all of his preoccupations and difficulties, and in particular this picture called Nightmare is a composite of all the many nightmares that dogged him at the time. This one is to the left of that, a really disturbing depiction of him imagining what it would be like if he had his father, with whom he had a difficult relationship, at his mercy, and he was bashing his brains out with a rock. Above here, you can see a bicycle here falling off a cliff, and a sort of a cliff path that gets increasingly narrow. So that reflects a nightmare in which this is precisely what happened.
This artwork is about insomnia and the kind of weird state that we occupy in the middle of the night. So it's made from duvets and pillowcases and bedding, and it's all written over with those kind of anxious kind of thoughts that we have, the irrational kind of weirdness that insomnia really generates.